Hi, I'm Mary with Mango Math. I am the creator and founder of Mango Math, and I'm here to present to you some of the new information that we now have in our kits. So our Mango Math kits have a new look to them, starting with our curriculum guide. So first off, if you don't know, MANGO is an acronym for the different math strands. There's measurement, algebra, number sense, geometry, odds and order. And all of the lessons in the kits will follow those strands of mathematics, majority of them being the algebraic thinking and the number sense. So what real math looks like is we want kids to see math in action. We don't want them on worksheets or on computer screens. We want them engaged in mathematics. So in order to have a real math mindset, we want to make sure that we're teaching kids to be persistent, to be curious, and to find math joyful. We want them to have struggle, but only when it's productive struggle, when kids are trying to think through how they're to play the game and not just giving up because they find it too difficult. And the kids are more than welcome to change the games and how they're played. Just ask them to give you information about how they've changed up the game. All that is good mathematical thinking, and we encourage that. And your job as an educator is to ask questions. We don't provide any answers for you, so that's not what we expect out of you, to give them answers. Our expectations are for you to ask good questions, and I'll show you where you can get some good questions that you can ask the students. And then make play the center of all the activities. When kids find math to be engaging and playful, they are going to take away that stress that they feel when they are presented with math facts or with math story problems that they have to answer. We're trying to take that anxiety out and make this a joyful, playful experience.
Of these five principles of what real math looks like, which ones do you think are the hardest for teachers and students to remember?
The hardest one for teachers in particular is not to have the answers. As teachers, we like to have the answers in front of us in case we have any questions that we don't know how to answer. And in this case, we cannot provide you the answers to these problems because we have number generators, so kids are rolling dice or using a spinner or having cards to get the numbers that they need, so we can't provide answers. So being able to be a good questioner, being able to ask questions of the students is very important. So before you begin, I recommend that you do 3 lessons at a time, set them out as stations, and the kids rotate through those stations. You can have up to 8 kids playing one game, usually broken down into 2 groups of 4 or into 4 groups of 2. We have a Mango Math YouTube channel, so there is a QR code that will direct you to that channel, and you can go into our playlist and find each grade level kit and all the lessons there. So you do not have to stress about not understanding the game. You can quickly go to our YouTube channel. Now, we have it so that the kids are in their groups, and I suggest that you can either teachers assign them or students randomly select, or you draw random names out of a hat. Any of those 3 ways are good ways to get kids into groups. And then deciding on how you rotate the kids. Are you going to rotate the kids from game to game, or are you going to rotate the game from group of kids to group of kids? That usually depends on the size of the room that you're in. During the centers, the educator's job is to observe, to provide questions if they need them. We do want the kids to be talking to each other, so making sure that they stay within indoor voices, and then just watching and encouraging the students to participate and to try to take risks on trying to get to the answers. And then after the games are played, we give you some suggestions on reflection questions. And then the indicators that all things are going well is that they're the kids are naturally talking about math on their own, that they are collaborating together, that they are finding confidence in numbers, and that they just starting to take off that stress of mathematics and starting to look forward to doing math.
For this, what would you say are like the biggest like red flags or green flags when students are like playing with the games to like keep an eye out for?
So just know that the first time the kids play the games that there's manipulatives. They're normally just going to start playing with those manipulatives without playing the game. So just kind of making sure that the kids have that opportunity to kind of play with the manipulatives first. There's nothing wrong because these games are meant to be brought out numerous times. So allow them to play at the beginning. And then the other is making sure you understand the difference between productive and unproductive struggle. Students who are tuning out, pulling away, we want to try to bring them back in and give them confidence to continue. All right, next slide. So teamwork expectations. One is I've given some suggestions on student roles. One being the game manager. They're the ones that read the directions. They're the judge or the dealer. You always have the game starter. That's going to be the person who starts every game. There's going to be the supply manager, the person who keeps track of all the supplies, making sure they get back into the pouch. And then the time manager, which kind of keeps track of the time, and that not so much in the time that they're there and keeping track like, oh, we have 1 minute left, but more in time as we need to keep kids moving along in the game and not being distracted or bogged down in a problem. Just keep making sure the game continually moves along. And so we want to make sure that kids are talking, they're listening, they're taking turns, they are trying before they ask for help, and that they're being responsible. So this is an example of one of the games we have. It's called Tens Takeoff. Now look, it tells you what, it's a number sense lesson, that N is also in the mango. They'll give you the objectives, the supplies, tells you how to group the students and how much time. Now, normally I keep these games very short and sweet, nothing more than 10 minutes to a game, because if the kids stay with it too long, they start to get bored and start to feel like the game's boring and they don't want to come back to it. So keep the game short and sweet. It'll tell you the math focused and the mathematics behind it. This is all for the adult. Here are the guided questions that you can answer, ask the students, and here is some math vocabulary. And on the back side, you'll see that it's going to tell you step-by-step directions on how to play the game. It'll tell you what each student needs to do, how you keep score in this game, and who is determined the winner of the game. So this one's called Tens Takeoff, and Ruby and I are going to play this game to give you an example of how it's played. And I believe this is a 3rd grade game. We have a target number of 600, and that's what's suggested in the lesson, but you can always change that target number. In order to play this game, you're going to have a 10-sided dice, so it has 0 to 9 on it. The player is going to roll that dice and multiply it times any one of these numbers in the tens place, be it any of these up above. And once it's played, once it's multiplied once, it's marked off the board. So Ruby's going to go first. I'm going to roll the dice for her. She's got a 2. What do you want to multiply 2 times what?
I'm going to do 2 times 50 for 100.
50. All right, so the students will be writing this down and marking off. That'll be done by the judge or each individual student. My turn. I've got a 1, so I'm going to do 1 times 90. So I have 90. And if there's more players, obviously you're going to have fewer opportunities, so you can alter the game if you need to. Ruby's next turn, she's got a 1.
I will do 1 times 80.
Now I'm writing this down for Ruby, but she would write them down herself. Ruby, what's your new total?
180.
You did 80. All right, my turn. I have 3. I'm going to do 3 times 70. Or 210. So I now have 300. All right, Rube, your turn. 6.
I will do 6 times 60 because the 70 doesn't exist. So 360.
You did 6 times 60 for 360. What's your total now?
My total is 540.
All right, my turn to roll. I have 6 as well. So I'm going to do 6 times 30 for 180 for a total of 480. Ruby, your turn. You have 2.
2 times 20 for 40, total of 580.
All right, my last roll. Oops, we did the 20. I gotta mark that off. I have 3. Do 3 times 40 equals 120 for a total of 600. Woohoo! All right, so that's an example of one of the many games that we have in our kits, but you can see how much mathematical thinking is going on and that the kids really enjoy playing them.
What's like the most common like feedback you get from people who play the games?
The most feedback I get is that the students really enjoy the games, that they love pulling them out, they love using them, that it takes that stress off of both the instructor and the child because it is just a non-intimidating way to learn math. So we get a lot of compliments that way. So if you'd like to learn more about Mango Math, check out our website, or you can contact us at info@mangomath.com.